Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Logan Hall back with another grill stream. So it's been a minute since I've done an actual cooking grill stream. Um, so so basically, what I wanted to do today, and this is actually like a slightly different layout than something like what I normally have. Normally it's like my grill sort of over here. It's actually more sort of in like a corner, but um, this is actually the view that you'll be seeing sort of going forward, actually, because in the very near future, I'm going to be getting a nice sort of cabinet that will kind of span the length of the side of my patio. That's coming in a couple of weeks, and currently I just have the egg right here. But anyway, what we're making today is pork carnitas. Basically, for that we have to start with some pork, and this is about 3 to 4 pounds, possibly even more. But basically, what I've done is I've cubed up a bunch of pork butt here, and the first thing that like I want to do today is we'll actually want to season this, right? Um, but again, before that though, how about we just make ourselves a little drink? So I need to get a bit of lime here real quick. Let's see. All right. So I have a lime here. First thing you want to do with any limes is you want to, and I'll see if I can point this down. Well, you can't quite see it. Yeah, yeah. It's like you want to roll out the lime a little bit. What this does is it kind of wakes up the fibers a bit more, and it just kind of like allows you to get like the most for your lime. So I'm just gonna cut just a like 1/8 of a piece of a lime here. Something like this. And I'm going with some tequila. So this is Ocho. I really like Ocho. I think it's just a very nice, smooth drink. That should last me for quite some time. Um, and then I'll just kind of squeeze this into the drink itself, and we'll just kind of let that sit. So cheers. So now that we have the drink out of the way, we need to go ahead and season, right? So first thing we'll want to do, we have our pork, and I want to pat some of this dry, just a bit. So I just have a paper towel here, and I'm just going to kind of pat this down just a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be bone dry necessarily, but any sort of excess moisture that you can get out of this, the better. So there's little blotches there, and that's going to be perfectly fine. Um, so after that, what we'll do is I'm going to get some kosher salt, cumin, and Mexican oregano with some black pepper. So give me 1 sec. Pepper. Okay. So what I have here is some cumin, right? We have pepper, of course, salt, and then this is specifically Mexican oregano. Okay, it almost, I mean, it's got sort of like the bulbs in it, right? So this is the real stuff here. You can't really skimp out on this. So what we'll do is, so we'll want to do 2 to 2.5 teaspoons of salt. And what we'll do, I'll just kind of use this to gauge it. I'm going to spread that around a little bit. So I'll use 2 of those. And then we'll want to get 1 of those of cumin. You know, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. That should be good enough. Hey, Kevin Hawthorne, what's going on, man? Good to see you here, brother. We're back to grill streaming, all right? And then finally, let me just switch over to my other tab here. Oh, yeah, the black pepper. Let's do the black pepper first. And then the very important Mexican oregano. That should be good. So now I'll just kind of toss all this together. You know, and you want to spend like a few minutes really. Well, we sacrificed 1 piece, guys. Sadly, I'm going to have to put him off to the side. But again, you want to really mix this, and you kind of want to like push down a little bit, just to make sure that all the spices are sort of adhering correctly. But again, mix this for, you know, good 30 seconds to like a minute. So that everything kind of compresses down. But with my clean hand, I'm going to add just a little bit more of oregano. If I could get it off. Oh, yes, I can. Just a little bit more oregano. And then a little bit more cumin. Just a touch more salt. Because we are working with quite a bit of pork here. This is like 3 to 4 pounds worth. So I'm seeing it gets like a lot better even coating now. I think that's what sort of the missing piece was. Okay, so here's what it looks like now. We have our season. So I'm gonna go wash my hands just for cleanliness sake. I'll be right back. Okie doke. I'm back. Let's take a sip of our drink. Nice and smooth. So now that we have things sort of seasoning here, those will kind of sit for a moment. And then what we can do is we can half our orange and our lime. We've technically already halved the lime, so let's grab 1 orange. So this is a navel orange. So we have that, and that'll be used later on when we put everything inside. And then we want to smash 5 garlic cloves. And sorry for me getting up all the time. Everything's over here on the other side of the table. So garlic is always a little bit messy. So I have a trash can right here. So we'll just start getting our cloves out. Five cloves. And I'll point this downward here. So we'll just want to smash these up a little bit. And if we can pop them out of their skins, even better. Or the husk, or whatever you want to call it. Let me back this up just a little bit. We can move the orange out of the way. Pretty good. All right, that'll be good enough. So now what we'll do, let's see what else we need to do. I have like another tab here that just, kind of sort of like the run a show. And then to make this a little bit more authentic here, I brought in some dried chilies. All right. So we have an ancho chili and a guajillo. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like tear the ends off here. And I'm just going to empty the seeds in to this trash can here. Now again, you don't have to get every single like seed out here, but again, if you get most seeds out, then that's fine. We have JB. What's going on, brother? Man, it's been a minute since we've seen each other. But JB, I'm making some carnitas today. So I just kind of tore up like this ancho chili, and then I have this like this guajillo here too. So I'm just going to empty out the seeds sort of in my trash can off to the side here. So we have our dried chilies. I've already done the garlic. Yeah, beautiful, exactly. And then what else here? We've already done that. So now we're actually going to light the fire. So what I'll do here is, I actually have another camera, and I'm going to bring it on here. So this is going to be the debut of a two grilling sort of setup here. So let's see. Let's see if I can flip this around. It goes to black. Well, I don't think that's going to work. Let me do this. So we'll get that guy out. And now that one is perpetually stuck. So let's do this. Can I remove edit name? No. So let's just go to the single view for yeah, that's better. All right. So let's go ahead and light the grill. Take out any old ash. Lots of fresh charcoal. Let's see. I had some gloves around here. Let me go inside and grab those. Let's see. We need to get a fire starter in here. Little tumbleweed. We'll hit it with fire. So now we'll get some heat deflectors now. Then what we'll do is I have one of those little like cross ones. Where did that go? I see it. So basically, the vessel that we're going to be cooking this in today is actually that's like that large sort of cast iron, sort of Dutch oven. All right. All right. So the fire started, and we'll give that 10 to 15 minutes to get up the temperature. So I guess I can just kind of walk through the game plan of today and sort of what this cook is going to look like. So basically, I'm cooking this on the Joe, right? And so what I was doing over there was I was putting down sort of the racks, and then I have these things called the heat. You can select the heat deflectors, and essentially what's going to happen with those is instead of the Dutch oven being exposed to like fire all the time, this is going to act more like a oven, and they're going to just kind of be low and slow in there, because basically for you to get sort of the pulled pork or sort of the carnitas, texture, I mean, like all of it has to break down like very slowly into sort of the individual threads. So what we'll do now is I'm going to wait until this gets up to about 275, and then from there, we won't even like necessarily get like a sear on these pork pieces. So what's actually going to happen instead is we will just dump it all in there. I have some chicken stock, like inside that's basically homemade. We're going to add that, and then I also have some Mexican Coke that we're going to add to this as well. And again, like in any sort of you know overflow will just be just normal water, right? But again, and then we're going to be adding in sort of the dried chilies. We have some garlic pieces. We have orange, which is actually pretty important, as well as lime. And then I have also like one clove, like a cinnamon stick, as well as like some bay leaves. So again, we're going to have sort of multiple flavors sort of melding here. So let me go back to my sort of list here. So let's see. Yeah, so what we'll do here is I'm going to also add in like chunks of onion as well. And then we'll kind of squeeze in like the juice of the orange, as well as 2 tablespoons of lard. Now, if you were just sort of any average Joe, you would be cooking with butter, right? But again, like it's good to use sort of lard when you're dealing like with Mexican food. So again, I try to stay very authentic here. So I think what we could do while this starts to heat up here is I'll get that onion, and I'm just going to kind of chop that up into like larger chunks. They don't have to be like small or sort of diced or anything. We're not necessarily going to be eating the onion. The onion is going to be there to flavor it all. So let me go grab that onion real quick. Okay. So we have the Mexican Coke. We have a bit of cloves, lard, and one big ass onion. Look at this thing. This thing's big. So what I'll do, I'll just chop off one end. toss that piece. And then I'm just going to use half of this onion because we can use the other half for sort of garnish when we kind of wrap up. So we'll just kind of peel like an outer layer off. And I'm just going to kind of do this in maybe like 6 chunks here, or maybe 8. But now we have these chunks ready to go in. And we'll save the other half of this onion for later. And let's see, on our other tab, place, okay. Yep, so now what we'll do is we'll just wait on the Kamado to come up to temperature here. That may take a minute. So honestly, guys, I was kind of thinking about breaking up the stream into sort of 2 parts, because most of this cook is just going to be sort of like a low and slow on sort of the Kamado Joe here. And also, by the way, if you can hear a train, I actually live sort of fairly close, like a train track, unfortunately. So sorry about that. But anyway, so we'll let this come up to temperature here. We will probably let the lard melt a little bit first, and then we can get some color on the onion as well as like the garlic, as well as like the dried chilies and all that. And then we'll kind of add in the meat, and then we'll add in all the liquid and everything. And from there, it's just more of just like sort of a low and slow type of deal, right? So. Again, this is very good tequila from Ocho. If you can find it, great. If not, there's some other good brands, but again, I just like Ocho. So we do have one viewer still. That might be JB. I'm not sure, but if you're watching, feel free to say hello. Sort of shout out in the chat, and I'll give you a shout out. So one thing that I can also talk about here is, so yesterday I did a grill, or not a grill stream, but it was more of a sort of like a grill unboxing, right? So you always see unboxings of watches and everything, sort of like around this sort of circle, but yesterday I did an unboxing of a grill, and so basically what I got there was called the Blaze for the Prelude 4-burner gas grill. Basically, we have OC in the house. What's going on, OC? Hopefully, you can hear me okay. So I got a train in the background. Like you can probably hear that. So sorry about that. But yeah. So just to sort of catch you up, OC. It's like we're making pork carnitas. I have about 3 to 4 pounds worth of like pork chunks here. Like we've already seasoned this with some cumin, some Mexican oregano. We also have salt, pepper, and then I also have some dried stuff going on. I have like a dried ancho, like a dried it's like a dried guajillo chili. We have several pieces of garlic. We have oranges, which we'll use the juice of as well. But then we'll also just kind of toss these in with everything else too. But then we have these chunks of onion that will help flavor everything. But again, this will be like a fairly short stream, I guess, compared to what we've usually done in the past. Only because once I put everything in and like I fill all the liquids up, it'll just kind of be a low and slow cook. and it's expected to take 2 to 3 hours. And I don't have 2 or 3 hours worth of material, guys. Now, one sort of thought that has sort of been mentioned in the past to sort of help sort of fill that time is um, just take a look at like YouTube videos of people cooking, people uh, you know completely messing up their cooks and everything. And again, I am streaming from like a laptop today. So I might do that actually. I might go and find content that like that may be worth watching and sort of judging while we're watching. Um, so that's certainly a possibility. If you guys have links of videos that you want me to sort of judge or grade or whatever, let me know. Sort of drop them in the chat, or if you have me added on WhatsApp, you can send those to me on WhatsApp as well. Um, but again, currently we're waiting for the Kamado Joe to come up to about 275. I'm actually going to check the inside just to make sure that like the fire didn't go out. So let me check that real quick. I think I'll hit it just one more time. So the fire is back, and we should get up to temperature probably within 10 minutes from now. But anyway, I just kind of want to recap first sort of the unboxing stream from yesterday. So if you didn't catch it, last night I did a unboxing of my Blaze sort of 4 burner gas grill. And like you might be wondering, Logan, where is it? Right? I'm like, it's not behind me. Where is it? Well, I have contracted a company to build some custom cabinets for me. They're going to be sort of outdoor, sort of patio grill sort of cabinets. Now these aren't going to be necessarily cabinets that are like mounted like on the floor or like the wall or necessarily. You know, Basically it's going to be like just a long sort of rolling cabinet. It's going to be on casters and all that. And the idea is the egg will be sort of where you see it right now, but then the grill that I just unboxed last night will be on this side. And I do actually have an image of sort of what I envision, um, uh, sort of here. Let me see if I can do this. I've never actually done this before, but let me share my screen. Share screen. Okay. So let's actually. Okay. Let's do window. No. Okay. I'm entire screen. That's fine. So hopefully on your screen right now you can see this sort of AI rendering of what I plan on having in my backyard here. So I basically just made this like in Chat GPT. But like the idea is, again, like I mentioned, we'll have the Blaze grill sort of on the left here, and then we have a nice sort of open space, in like the middle. We have a lot of cabinetry on the bottom for storage. So on the left side, we actually have sort of like the storage area will be where we put the propane tank. So there'll be a little bit of storage there, but then in the middle there's actually like a pull-out trash can, which is pretty cool. Um, and then on the right, of course, we have sort of the Kamado Joe, or the egg, as I sometimes call it, and then that will just be kind of cut out on the top so that sort of like the dome piece can be visible, right? So that's basically the plan there, and hopefully you guys were able to see that. But that's the plan there. And again, I ordered it a couple weeks ago. They say it should take. Awesome, JV. Thank you for confirming that you saw that. Again, I don't ever really like share my screen like that before. But anyway, that's sort of the plan there. Um, so anyway, I ordered that about a week and a half ago, and they say it takes about 3 weeks like to get here. So I'm about halfway currently right now on that. I have some trash that's basically like blowing away. Let me go grab it. We'll toss this in the trash. Okay. So one thing we can do while we wait is I'll actually go to YouTube and let's see if we can look for cooking shorts, maybe. So guys, tell me whether you can actually hear the audio or not. But what I want to do here is see, like I don't even know like who to look up necessarily. Like there's just so many like really bad cooks out there. But you know what we can do? Maybe we can look at what authentic sort of like pulled pork art sort of looks like. So let me just look up authentic. Whoops. Let's do this. Authentic carnitas. All right. So what I'll do, guys, I'm going to try to share my screen here. Let's do this. Let's do share screen. Authentic carnitas. Also share tab audio. Okay. Yep, we can do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and play some of this stuff here. Let's just check this guy out. Let's see if whoops, let's do this. So let's just pause here for a moment. And by the way, yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. Thank you, JB. It looks like I was frozen there. So guys, tell me whether you could see sort of like the video there. Oh, you know what? Yeah, yeah. So you should be able to see me there. Okay. So JB, tell me this. If I start to play this video here, tell me whether my image is frozen or not. Um, oh, hold on.
Today we're making carnitas. Now I like to use pork butt and ribs. Now let's get our first piece of pork.
Okay. So you guys should be able to see me now. Um, so so basically, what this guy is doing here is he's doing something interesting. He's actually frying everything first. um and then he kind of adds everything in. I guess he does like a braise at like the end. Actually, let's just sort of keep playing here and see what this guy does.
Pork butt into the fat here, and right away you see how that meat's changing color. That's what we want to sear that meat really quick. It's been 35 minutes. Take a look at these carnitas. So what we want to do is take them out, so we can sear our pork ribs. Look at that gorgeous color. If you leave them in there too long, then they're going to start to cook and dry out from the inside. So now we're going to add our ribs, and we want to sear the ribs as well. Got all our ribs in there. Let's give them a little stir. Okay, amigos, it's been 15 minutes. The ribs are looking gorgeous. We've got a nice little sear on them. Look at that. We're going to get those out. We're going to lower the temperature a little bit. Then we're going to drop it all back in there. Finish cooking the carnitas low and slow. Time to get the meat back into our caso and let it finish cooking. Now we just need them to cook from the inside. We're gonna let our ribs sit out here a little bit longer. We want those to start cooking. They take longer to get soft and tender on the inside. Ribs, you know, it's a very thin cut of meat. Those don't need more than another 25 or 30 minutes and they'll be perfect. I'm gonna add a whole head of garlic right here. We're also gonna add some onion. We're gonna drop that in there. We're gonna add 2 whole bay leaves. We'll drop those in there too. I wanna go ahead and drop my ribs. Now that our temperature is down in the 220, no more than 230-ish. We're gonna give these carnitas one more stir. It's been 2.5 hours. A couple more things we wanna add for the final flavor on the carnitas. One of them is an orange. So I'm gonna add this orange in there. Another thing.
Now it's interesting that this guy added orange at the end. I think, you know, anytime that you're mixing, you know, sort of fruit or sort of, you know, fruit or anything that can be delicate like fruit, or anything that's sugary, you know, that is actually like a pretty good move to add it towards the end. If you were to add that towards the start, I think what that, you know, again, you would be risking sort of getting sort of like a charred sort of sugar or sort of burnt sugar like type of taste into your meat that you're searing. One thing that I didn't necessarily plan for, but this guy is right. You know, maybe we should be sort of doing that type of sear or sort of like a boil, um, or not boil, but more of like a frying thing for this, for sort of the first half. You know, I wasn't necessarily sort of anticipating doing sort of a fry here, but again, let me stop sharing for a moment. Let me go back here. Okay, so you should okay. 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 Thank you for the feedback, JB. That's helpful. Again, I'm sort of again. This is like the first time like I'm streaming from my laptop here. So it's all just sort of new. Um, but anyway, so just to sort of recap what we just saw here, the guy was basically doing a fry, right? And he was doing it in lard for, or well, actually no, he didn't specify. But again, I would think it's lard, right? Um, and he was basically getting a crispy edge on sort of each of the pork pieces. So and he used like a combination of 2 meats. He used, I guess, pork butt, but then he also used short rib, which is interesting. I haven't really thought of that. Um, but anyway, I think, you know, after watching that video, what I might do is I might just take this whole thing of lard and we'll basically melt this down and kind of get it to a point where it's like almost like boiling or almost like frying basically. And I think from there, um, we can try to sort of also achieve that idea of sort of getting the edges fried, right? Um, so I think I might do that. And this also kind of changes my approach here a little bit too. I was planning on just adding in sort of the like the orange, you know, at like the very start with all the other liquids. But I think, you know, he makes a good point here. You know, and okay, this is sort of based on what I've seen like from other sort of you know, general cooking is if you're going to leverage some kind of fruit or something that's sort of, you know, something that can be acidic or whatever, you know, it's best to add that in last or at least towards the end, right? So I think that was actually some good advice here. Originally, I was planning on just getting this up like to 275, but then after what this guy said, I think it's worth just kind of dropping this lard in now, getting it up to like sort of like a frying temperature, maybe like 350 or you know like 350, 375, and then individually searing sort of each piece of pork in sort of the lard. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to open up my lard now. Here's the lard. Yeah, and so what I think I'll do, I think I'll just drop this in right now, honestly. Toss that. And then what we'll do now is we'll wait wait for that to come up to 350, 375, and then I'll try to do that searing thing that this guy was talking about. We'll see how that plays out. So I'm getting some insider information from OC, sort of in like the background. When we play videos in sort of this environment, use sort of a low resolution, sort of 360 here, because the Wi-Fi may not necessarily be coming across I guess like the cleanest. So good tip, OC. I mean, if OC is still watching, thank you for the tip. Now, now the other thing is, so I was planning on making my own corn tortillas, and like the thing is, I started this, or well, not started this, but I was maybe like a few minutes like away from starting the stream, and I realized I don't have the masa. I thought I had like sort of like the corn masa, but it turns out I don't. I thought I had some, but I don't. So I went on Instacart, not sponsored by the way, but they could be sponsors. Um, I went to sort of Instacart and I ordered some masa, like, and there's a few other things. I got like some more Mexican Coke. I got some limes and all that. So I just got a notification that my shopper has checked out and they are on their way. So that's good. Now, so I think we have changed up our strategy here just a little bit. So what? And actually, yeah. Let me do this. I'm actually going to move in just a little bit here because my laptop's getting a little bit fried in the sun here. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so we're starting to gain some temperature there, so we're looking good there. What I'll do, I'm going to share my screen again. So let's finish watching this guy here. Authentic Carnitas. So let's see. According to OC, we can change the quality. Well, okay. So maybe on shorts you can't change the quality. I'm not sure.
Now, I like to use pork butt and ribs. Now, let's get our first piece of pork butt into the fat here. And right away, you see how that meat's changing color? That's what we want.
Let's pause for a moment.
Let's make the greatest carnitas.
Welcome to Carnitas Asada. Today, we're making carnitas. Now, I like to use pork butt and ribs. Now, let's get our first piece of pork butt into...
Like, I want to scrub forward, but it won't.
Let's make the greatest carnitas.
Welcome to Carnitas Asada.
Guys, YouTube is hard, guys. YouTube is hard. You know what? So let's just skip this first one here. I think we got the gist of it. Let's actually move on to the next guy.
Let's make the greatest carnitas ever. Salt. Big pot. I should also mention you can use other pots, such as a Dutch oven. That works fine. Live pork. Cinnamon bay leaf. Very simple. Low heat, till melted, slow cook. After a couple hours. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's wow. Just like magic. Tomatillos.
Tomatillos.
garlic, a little salt, cilantro, tortillas, flour, baking powder, a little bit of soap, water, oil in bowl. Good thing I got the new Arc XL. Thanks, Cosby. Well, would you look at that? Well, that's a damn tortilla. White onion, will you marry me? Just the finishing touch. Jesus.
That looks good. That looks good, guys. Again, hopefully you were able to hear me and see me on that. JB says, hey, hope you have a great show. He'll be listening in, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We're starting to get more smoke here. And after watching Joshua's video here, maybe I should just stick to what I was doing originally. Maybe we should just drop in the sort of the overall sort of pieces, right? And then I noticed that he adds the lime in early, right? And again, from this guy like Josh, he's one of my go-to guys that I look for sort of inspiration and advice in terms of cooking. And I trust his sort of instincts here. So honestly, I think that might kind of speed things up here, and honestly, that kind of aligns closer to what I was going to do originally. So what I think I'll do is, I think instead of trying to fry these things for the crispy edges, I think what I'd rather do is I'll just kind of stick to what's Josh is doing. He puts the lard in first, and then he puts in all the pieces of sort of the pork. He adds in, the pieces of onion, all that piece. I think what I'll take from the first video actually is adding in. Okay. So I mean, again, I'm not sure. Let me actually stop sharing for a moment. Should I add in the sort of the juice of the oranges now, or should I do that towards the end, guys? What do you think? Now, while we wait here, I think what I'll do is I'll slice up this sort of piece of lime here just a little bit more, so that this is ready to be dropped in. So we have our lime, we have our onion. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here. We are at 300 degrees, guys, 300 degrees. I think that's actually pretty safe. And so what I'll do here is, hopefully you can see that. So I have my seasoned pork. Let's just go ahead and drop it in. So it's starting to fry up, actually. Yep, so what I'll do is I'll just let that fry, actually. Since we're kind of in a frying state right now, I'll just kind of go with just what the first guy did. He did sort of the frying thing. We'll stick with the frying thing for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, you know what? I already have it over here. I have a bowl that I could take these out once they're done frying. I'll probably give that maybe 5 minutes here. Doing this the patented OC 5 minutes. I'll give that 5 minutes and then maybe flip and see. I can see what it looks like from there. But in the meantime, we'll just kind of chill out on our tequila. Nice and smooth. Let's see if any of my other YouTube friends have given me advice. I don't want to do chat backup. Okay, we'll see a thumbs up. Oh, nice. Hey, OC, thank you for dropping the link there. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Yeah, I meant to drop the link sort of in all the chats, but I kind of forgot to do that this time around. But that's okay though. You know, hey, having one viewer is fine. No worries. So let's see how hard is that. Okay, so that's back up to 300. That'll be perfectly fine. Let me give that maybe 4 more minutes, and then we'll kind of flip and see how they look. Now, if this were it's like a TV select production, you would flip to the next scene, right? But this is live, baby. Everything's live, so you got to fill time. Got to fill the time. But no worries though. Yeah, so I told you guys earlier about like my Instacart order, and I'm going to get the masa for like the corn tortillas. Those will be coming in soon. Now, one idea that I really liked that I saw that I didn't really have sort of the forethought to think about this, and also it is, I mean, it's just a lot more work. Is sort of like the tomatillos piece. If we wanted to do our own sort of salsa verde, we definitely could have done like the tomatillo route. And those are great and all, but that probably would have added like another 30 minutes or 45 minutes to the cook or whatever. So I think just to be simple here, what I'm actually going to do instead is I will do a sort of a sour cream, lime, and sort of cilantro type of crema on top, and that will kind of serve as our sort of salsa or sort of sauce basically. So I'll give these guys 1 more minute, and then I think I'll flip them, and then we'll see what they look like from there. So I'm just looking at my clock on my laptop here. So I'm in Central Time, by the way. So we'll wait until that hits 3:19. 3:19. That's what we'll. It's actually getting up to about 400. Maybe I should just go ahead and do this now. Okay. So that looks pretty good actually. So you may not be able to see it, but again, these do have some nice charring on them. So that actually worked out pretty well. Put you guys back down here. So that, so that actually worked out pretty well. I'll give that another 5 minutes on sort of the other side, and then we'll basically collect them in this clean bowl here. And we'll probably have to do maybe 2 or 3 batches of that. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll add in sort of all of our other sort of pieces here. We have sort of the onion, we have the lime, the orange, our sort of dried chilies and whatnot, the clove, bay leaves, cinnamon, right? So there's still a lot to come. And it's only like 1 hour in, right? We're only 1 hour into the show, guys. Think of how long this will be. No. Let's see. Oh, nice. My delivery just came. So I'm gonna step away just for 2 seconds, guys, and then we can talk about sort of what else we're gonna do with sort of the Gilgan with the ingredients that we just got. So I'll be right back. So I have my fall here, but I noticed that I didn't close the vents here, so the temperature is still climbing. So I think these guys are probably ready to be taken out. So let's take these guys out. Okay, so guys, so this is what it looks like. You may not be able to tell, but they're nice and crispy. They're very similar to sort of like a chicharron. So we'll do our next batch. Yeah, I'm actually happy with sort of the charring on those there. Let's see. All right, so now we're starting to get a bit of sun in the face here. Um, One thing I might do is, well, yeah, yes. So you guys have a lot of sun in your face, or sort of I do, I guess. Um, let's move around to the side here. Plus, it's also a bit more shaded over here too. Let me do this. Yeah, I'm gonna go close the vent on one of these. Okay, I think this is going to be a little bit better, at least for now, just because just because we're not necessarily like straight into the sun. So this will be better for both me and you because now you can see me. So I'm just sort of closely watching everything in there right now. There is quite a bit of smoke, and I guess one sort of risk of this cook is that there could be a sort of an oil fire or sort of something like that type of thing. So I'm watching everything fairly closely. But anyway, do we have any more comments in the chat? I don't think we do. That's all right though. That's perfectly fine. So I didn't keep track of when I threw those in, but I think we're getting pretty close to flipping those. So we'll probably give that another 2 minutes or so. All right, so the smoke has calmed down, so that's good. Still have one viewer, so thank you guys for that. Let me show you what I got in terms of my haul. So we got some jalapenos, as well as some more limes. That's that one. And really, honestly, the main thing that I wanted was the masa, right? So this is corn, right? Sort of corn flour, I guess you could say. And again, you haven't really eaten Mexican food until you've made your own tortillas. Um, cooking yesterday, or not yesterday, but I guess maybe Thursday or whatever. When I went to the store, I was looking to cheap out. I was looking for just corn tortillas, but my store didn't have corn tortillas. They only had the shitty like flour tortillas, right? So I said, fuck that. I'm gonna make my own corn tortillas again. Now I do have like a press and everything, and I probably will show that process during the stream here. Um, but I think for the moment, though, I do want to go check on this next batch of you know what? I think they forgot something. I think they forgot my Mexican Coke. Um, yeah, yeah, maybe they did forget it. Okay, well, interesting. I'm gonna step away just for 2 seconds and flip these things real quick. So I'll be right back. All right, so those have been flipped. I'm gonna go check my front door just to make sure they didn't forget the Mexican Coke. That'd be kind of bad. So unless I put them down somewhere, which I don't think I did, I think they did forget my Coke, sadly. Um, so I'll have to file a complaint about that. Um, but that's okay because we still technically have this one here, and we'll use about half of that in the actual sort of brine later on. Um, but I think it's been a couple minutes now. I'm gonna go put a new batch. You know what? Here. I will take you guys. I don't necessarily want you guys to be feeling left out, right? Okay. Keep a fresh batch. So we'll probably need to do 2 more batches of frying here. All right. MD Chaz, what's going on, brother? Good to see you here. Whoops. MD Chaz. Yummy. That's right, man. That's right. So for anybody that's just joining, so far what we've done is we have decided to do sort of the frying method of sort of the chunks of the pork butt. And currently there's maybe 1 more batch to go of that. We are collecting them in this container here. They're nice and crispy. And then what we'll do is I will turn the temperature down. I'll kind of lower the heat. And, you know, just like an easy way to do that is you could technically just add more oil. You never add water to like the boiling oil because that's how you blow things up, right? They don't like to mix. Okay. So anyway, so I could just add a bit more oil, like to cool that down a little bit quickly. But probably what I'll do is I'll just kind of choke the fire for like a little bit, and that'll have things cool down gradually. Unfortunately, like, you know, when you're cooking on an egg, there isn't necessarily like a brake pedal, you know, for sort of the heat. So you have to know how to use sort of the vents, right? You know, like there's one at the top and there's one at the bottom. So, you know, again, you know, for you to have a lot of fire, you want a lot of airflow going, right? But if you want to cut down on that airflow or sort of that temperature, you just kind of close the vents, or you really, like, you really shouldn't fully close like the bottom vent. Like the bottom vent is, again, sort of the most important vent is, you know, you can get it like pretty close to being closed, but like if you close it off completely, you have a risk of like fully choking the fire and then the fire goes out, right? Um, but I just realized my drink is missing a bit of ice. I'm gonna go grab just a little bit of ice, and I'll be right back. So something that like I just thought about, by the way. Actually, you know what? It was probably time to flip these guys. Let's go back. I will hold that thought for a moment. I might have come back to this just a little too early. I mean, they are getting charred, but maybe not quite as dark or as deep as I wanted them to be. But that's okay. Yep. So just a little bit longer on those guys. I'll give that, or I'll give that batch another few minutes. But anyway, the thought that I was going to say was, I was just talking about how you really shouldn't mix like hot oil or lard or whatever um, with like water. But the thing is, I'll be using like like some homemade chicken stock later on, which is mostly water. So I think what I'll do is I'm actually going to take the cast iron like Dutch oven out of the Kamado Joe. That's basically going to allow it to cool a lot quicker. Um, but then what I'll do is I will probably wait a bit for that to cool down. Um, and that also kind of gives like the egg to actually you're gonna I think gives the egg some time to cool down too, right? Um, so that'll probably be like a 20-30 minute process for that piece. Um, but anyway, that's probably what I'll do. Again, like the whole idea here is I don't want to mix super hot oil with like water. Um, but anyway, we'll figure that out later on. The ice is really the key thing, guys. It's really not even that hot today. It's actually only like 65. But when you're sitting in the sun and everything like that, uh, the heat gets sort of amplified a little bit. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of dumb today. I'm wearing a sweater, right? I'm like, look, but this morning it was like high 30s, low 40s. Like, I'm like, I checked out the like the weather app, and I thought, man, I got to wear a sweater today. It's cold. Um, but now I'm out here in the hot sun. I'm grilling, right? So anyway, so again, like the sleeves are rolled up. By the way, I'm wearing the day chest today. It's looking nice. And this is again, this is the first Rolex that I ever bought. I bought this 10 years ago, guys. Over 10 years ago. Um, I bought this. Um, no, okay. So I thought I bought it from Theo and Harris, but I think Christian helped sort of help me validate that it was like real and authentic. Like back in the day, you know, Christian was very active like on Facebook and sort of like Instagram, of course. And I remember just like sending him like a DM. I was like, hey Christian, do you think this looks legit? And I said, yeah, it's legit, man. Like you don't have to worry about anything. So shout out to Christian, who has recently kind of gone into this hunting sort of like again it's like a hunting sort of side quest almost, which I find interesting. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's take these guys out. Oh, you know what? Point this down. It's getting full. So now for our final batch. And I'm going to open up the bottom vent a little bit more. I let that cool down a bit. So now they're not really sizzling as much when I drop them in. Oh, and something else like I meant to mention earlier. When you're frying things, you really shouldn't crowd the pan or sort of I guess like the Dutch oven in this case too much. Because what that does is it lowers the temperature of the overall frying oil, or in this case, lard. But because this was already at a pretty high temperature, this was maybe 400 to 450 degrees. Once I add all this stuff in, it's going to balance out to where it'll be closer like to 350 by the time that I add everything in. I probably should have done maybe another sort of final batch of this stuff. or I guess sort of split this into maybe one more batch, honestly, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I just want these to be ready, right? Um, so I will leave the vent sort of fully open here. Whoop. So okay, so my vent's fully open. I'm going to open this up too. So currently, sort of the ambient temperature might only be like 250 or even 300 or whatever, right? But by having the vent open, we're going to get that oil or sort of the lard back up to, close up to 400, right? Again, really, when you're frying things, you really shouldn't go, higher than like 375. Three viewers in the chat, guys. Welcome. If you're new here, feel free to say hello and subscribe and all that good stuff. Leave a comment so that I know that you're watching, right? So I'll probably give this batch, sort of this final batch, probably a good solid 5 minutes. I'm gonna set a timer on my phone, actually. My phone. Let's see. Five minutes. Now I want to go back to my kind of sheet here. Let's see. Look what should come left halfway up. Pork. Yeah. So what I may end up doing is I might just take a little bit of, or not a little bit, but like I might actually take most of the lard out, actually. And what I'll do from there is I'll leave maybe like 2 tablespoons worth of lard in there, so that way once the sort of the remaining lard hits sort of like the chicken stock, there's not going to be some explosion or whatever. So I think that's what I'll do. Put this drink on this side because it's not in the sun. But anyway, that's probably what we'll do here, just from like a safety perspective. And then this is actually, after this, are you using charcoal? Well, yes, I am, MD Chaz. So typically, I kind of go back and forth between just sort of the Kamado Joe branded charcoal. They have sort of like the XL lumps, right? And then there's this other brand called like Jealous Devil, and they have some pretty good charcoal too. Um, some people say that you can tell a difference between like different kinds of charcoal. I mean, for me, I would really have to like have like two different eggs sort of side by side. One has this kind, the other has this kind, or whatever. That's really the only way for me to tell like whether there's truly a difference at all. Um, so and also, when you're lighting charcoal, I would advise not to use sort of like the starter fluid, because I think that can affect sort of the taste in the end. What I use is like these little sort of straws for tumbleweeds. You can also get these like pucks that are almost like a green color, or sort of a brownish green color. Um, those are also fine, but again, I found that if you use starter fluid, it always kind of comes out just like maybe just a little bit weird, sort of in like the aftertaste. Um, so good question, MB Chaz. Thank you for the chat engagement. I appreciate that. We're probably getting close to, well, okay, we have about 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left on this, and then we'll flip basically the last batch. So in the meantime, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go find my other glove. So I have this glove, right? But I need one more to grab basically like the whole Dutch oven. I'm going to take the Dutch oven out, once sort of all the pork pieces are out, of course, and then I'm going to drain sort of the excess lard into like another sort of cast iron pan like I have, and then that will sort of gradually cool over time, um, and basically from there we'll only have just like a little bit of lard left, like basically just like the two you can just have the 2 teaspoons of lard is really just going to act almost like butter when we add in like the garlic, the onions, like and all that good stuff, right? Um, so I think that's how I'll treat it. I think what I'd like to do now is I would like to go ahead and flip. Let's see. I'll delete that timer. I'll go ahead and flip these guys, and I'll bring you guys along. So I'm going to close, or they'll get mostly closed at the bottom of it. Sorry, I had something fly away there. So rather than trying to flip to each sort of individual one here, I'm just going to kind of move it around a bit. And then we may have to do that a couple times for this last batch. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go get a cast iron pan. And so that will be what we put sort of the excess lard in, and I'll just kind of be off to the side for a moment. So I'll be right back. Got the pan, guys, pan. And so one thing I need to do is I need to find my other glove. Which can't seem to locate. Let me actually go inside and grab just a couple sort of hot gloves real quick. I'll be right back. So I think these will work for now. But I just, oof. So I just sort of flipped those around just a moment ago. So we'll let that do its thing for a little bit longer, and then we'll take all of those out. And from there, what we'll do is we'll drain the lard, and then we'll start to sort of sear or you can not sear, but we're gonna get all the onion and sort of the garlic in there. and just let that sort of perfume, right? And then we will add in the chicken stock, about half of this Mexican Coke. And then from there, it'll just be kind of a slow simmer, guys. Um, so I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole stream here, sort of live, because after this, after we do all that part, um, it'll be another 2 to 3 hours that just sort of low and slow, right? Now, one thing that like I might do here is I might do this stream in two parts, because like we're almost at like 2 hours. Well, I'm like we're at like the hour. It's like we're at like the hour and a half mark here. Um, I think just to make this so that it's not like a 6 hour stream, I think what I'll do is after this sort of like initial part is done, after we get everything back in, we have the chicken stock in and all that. Um, that's kind of the point where it's just going to be kind of a low and slow type of thing. It's going to be boring, right? Um, so, but then what I might do is later today, I might start up another stream, and that's when we'll do sort of the prep for like the actual end product here. I will show you guys how we make sort of the corn tortillas, um, and I'll also do sort of like the crema piece too. Um, so I think that's probably what we'll do. I'm gonna go flip these guys one more time. I'll probably do this one off camera this time, just so that I'm not having to bounce back and forth all the time. So I'll be right back. All right, so we're getting to a point where those are almost done. I'm just going to give those a few more minutes. From there, I'm just going to leave the dome open a little bit so that we get down to more of a manageable temperature here. It's going to be closer like to 250, 275. For the whole process here of this frying piece, we've been sitting at like 400, 500 degrees, right? Which is honestly more than it should be for frying. Um, but because we had such a large amount of sort of pork to fry here, and again, I was sort of overcrowding like a little bit there. So I mean, like the fact that like it got up like to 400, 500, that's fine. Um, so anyway, so we'll let that kind of sit there just for a moment. Um, so anyway, yeah. So I think we have our sort of technique down, and we looked at some YouTube videos earlier, just sort of different approaches and whatnot. Um, again, like the first guy, uh, I'd like to watch. I've definitely seen him around before. I've seen him on YouTube. I've seen him on Instagram. This guy seems to be very authentic. He seems to know what he's doing. And again, but then we saw sort of Josh Wiseman, who I again I think he's a really really great cook. He has a lot of experience in sort of fine dining and whatnot. So I take a lot of inspiration from him as well. And he kind of went the just sort of the chill sort of lard route where you almost use it more like butter, I guess, and you don't necessarily fry it. But again, I like the idea of sort of frying it first and then just kind of like setting it off to the side for a bit and then let it just kind of slowly cook, sort of in like the chicken stock. So that's the route that I took, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm surprised that we don't have Mathis on here. Mathis is always giving me shit about like my cooking, and he says that like I need to be a grandma. I need to be a authentic Greek grandmother. I need to be authentic Mexican grandma. Like only grandmas know how to cook apparently, right? that's the kind of feedback that I'm getting from Mathis. So basically, as a white young male, statistically, I can't cook, right? I shouldn't be able to cook, but I can, right? So I am an outlier, in that sense. I think what I'll do is I think this final batch is pretty much ready to be taken out. Let me take one more sip, and we'll go over here. I will take this stuff with me. Okay, those are looking good. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close or almost close this bottom vent first. I want to get a head start on getting that into a cooled, lower temperature state. Man, these are almost like, ooh, yeah, that was hot. Yeah, got that flame going there. These are almost like pork nuggets, like a pork chicken nugget. Okay, all of our pork is out. So what I'm going to do now, let's see. Put you guys right here for just a moment. Let's see if that works. So, yeah, I want to wait like for just a little bit before I fully take this out, because that oil right now is still very, very hot, and it's going to be pretty dangerous for me to try to take that out right now. So I'm just going to wait just a bit, and then what we'll do is we'll pour the sort of excess lard into this frying pan. So we're already back down like to 400. So we will chill just for a moment. We'll chill for a moment, and then we'll get the excess, sort of excess lard out, and then we'll do sort of the perfuming that we talked about. And then we'll again we'll probably wrap up like this first part here in maybe like 10-15 minutes, and then my plan is, once we're getting to a point where we're getting close to the end, I will come back in like a few hours from now, and then I'll start up another stream, and then we'll kind of do the finishing touches here. So now what I may end up doing is I may not keep this first stream. I may end up just keeping the sort of the second stream, because that's where all the action is going to be. It's sort of a TV show, right? Oh, here's our cooked carnitas or whatever. Here's the plating process. Oh, they look beautiful. Type of thing. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably just kind of maybe scrap this first part of the stream. But then I'll start up later again, and then we'll kind of finish things off. Now, Mathis, you can't complain that I'm not doing any more grill streamings or whatever. I know. I stepped away for a little bit. I didn't do a lot of grill streaming over the last 4 to 5 months, right? But that's the holidays. You got family over and all that. So I think I was justified in that. So, but again, we're back to grilling season. I am selling 2 grills. I think I may have mentioned this yesterday in my unboxing stream, but sort of like the Traeger, right? it's like let's like the pellet smoker. Um, there was one guy that I thought he was going to come pick it up today, but he kind of went quiet on me. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, and then I have my old gas grill. So, so that was the black one, and so technically they're both for sale. If you're in the Nashville area and you're interested, you're welcome to come pick them up for me. But for the time being, though, I'm just sort of like relying on Facebook Marketplace and sort of local listings and whatnot. Um, so here in a moment, I'm going to step over here and see if I can safely get get sort of like the lard out from sort of like the Dutch oven. The plan is like to actually take the Dutch oven out. Like you pour it to like the cast iron pan, and then from there we will do sort of the onion and garlic and stuff like that. So that's the plan. Let me take one more sip of this. Again, this is Ocho, guys. Oh, geez, that's so bright. Okay, now you can probably see it. Yeah. So if you want some good to good good tequila, I recommend Ocho. There's better stuff out there like the Casa, or it's like the Casa Azul or whatever. Um, but that's crazy expensive. So, MD Chaz, hey, thank you for sticking around, man. Appreciate it. I think what we'll do now, we'll go back over here and we'll do the somewhat dangerous part of getting this hot lard out. So wish me luck. See, I just had another. Yeah, where that went. Oh, here it is. So what we'll do. Okay. There we go. So we have successfully gotten the lard out. What I'll do now, toss this in. Now let's add the garlic. So I'll add a little bit more spice here. Now let's add the chilies. Let's do 2 little pieces of cloves. One cinnamon stick. Two bay leaves. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get the chicken stock. So our homemade chicken stock is in. So let's go ahead and squeeze our orange in. We'll put that in. Limes. And then what we'll do last is I will definitely need some water here, so I'll be right back. There's some water. And finally, some Mexican Coke. And just a little bit left for me. And there's nothing like hot Coke. So I do think I maybe just need a little bit more water. So I'll be rocking. So it doesn't have to be fully submerged, but again, it's good for it like to be mostly submerged. So I'm going to open this back up just a little bit. We want this to be kind of at a simmer. Okay. Okay, guys. So we are pretty much at the point where my plan is just to get this up to sort of like a simmer, and it's going to stick around for 2 to 3 hours like this. So again, it doesn't make for the best content. And I think from here, guys, I'm just going to wrap this one up sort of at, very close to like the 2-hour mark. I will come back later and we'll do kind of a finishing stream here where we make the tortillas, where we kind of get everything out. We can get it all like fried up sort of in the pan, and then we build our tacos, right? So for good food, guys, it takes time to make. And that's why these streams end up taking, 5-6 hours or whatever, right? So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this first part. Again, I may not necessarily keep this first half. I may end up just keeping the second half later on, but again, it's like we'll see. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this first half. I'm back. I'm doing live streams again, so I'm doing grill streams for you guys. All right. So if you enjoyed this, please make sure you give it a like. Comment afterwards after I'm offline. And I hope to see you back in part 2. Thank you.